Hello everyone, and welcome to the Brickformula review of LEGO set 6860, the Batcave. It has 689 pieces for ages 7 to 14, and it's from the DC Universe Superheroes. And this set retails for $69.99. And I would like to give a shout out to Phineas155 and the Mega X Long 01. They are the subscribers who had requested that I review this set, so everyone check out their channels. And moving forward, here in the front we can see that the phone is ringing off the hook because, well, they're just a little busy down there. And here are the minifigures. More on that later. And we also get a comic book too, which is pretty neat. Here's the back, where we see a lot of the playable features. And now to take a look at that comic book real quick. Here's the comic book, which is not much, but there is a number 2 down here. I'm guessing that they all should be different. Well, I guess we'll soon find out. On this side we have pictures of the other sets that you can get, and the rest of the comic are basically small skits of the other sets in action. Over here we have like a small checklist of all the minifigures that you will get in the series. And there we go. Okay, there's the Batcave. There's the Batwing over Gotham. So you guys get the idea. And then on the back they advertise that you can build your own comic at DCUniverseSuperheroes.lego.com. Here are the minifigures, and first up is Bruce Wayne, and here he is up close. You know, for a guy who lost his parents pretty early on, he actually turned out alright, although it does help to have a lot of money. And he kind of looks like Christian Bale, even though that's not the Batman suit that he should be wearing. Personally, I've never been a fan of the blue and gray suit, but this one actually looks pretty good. And there it is up close, and he's got that serious look on there. And that white part is where his eyes are when he wears the mask. And without it, looks like he's just working out. And here's the alternate face. And that's probably what he looks like after about 10 reps. Next is Robin, the Boy Wonder. And he looks really good in red. Here he is up close. And there's his face with his mouth shut. I hope he has a breath mint inside. And he has an alternate face. And that's what he looks like when he finds out that there's no cable inside his grappling gun. So yeah, you might want to check that out next time before you jump off a building. And here we have the all-new Poison Ivy, and she looks pretty good. She has leaves all over, including her hair, which is pretty handy because if you run out of toilet paper, you can use one of those. And there's the back, and she has an alternate face where she looks pretty mean. That's probably what she looks like in the morning, and she's getting ready to brush her teeth. And on this side she looks pretty sweet, and she's holding a vine, either that or a really fancy back scratcher. And finally we have Bane. And you can tell this guy doesn't want to get kissed. Who could blame him? When you're working with Poison Ivy, you don't want to risk that. And there he is with his bulging muscles. And here's the back where you see his outdoor plumbing, giving him some really healthy green juice called Venom. And there we go. First we'll take a look at the Batcycle. And I will admit that when I first saw this, I was a little bit skeptical because I've been a huge fan of the Batpod. But after taking a closer look, this thing actually looks pretty cool, especially from this angle too. There it is from the front, and we have a sticker over there. There's the side, and there's the bottom, and you can see that this is armed with 2 flick-fire missiles. After you use that up, you'll have to just resort to running people over just to get your point across. There's the back, and there's the top. And you can put Batman in here any way you like, either standing or sitting. It won't really affect the way the cape looks. Here he is standing in it. Okay, and there we go. Looks pretty cool all around. And here he is again, only this time he is sitting in the Batcycle, and as you can see, it doesn't affect the cape at all. And it looks pretty good too. And there it is from the front. Pretty neat. Up next we have Bane's drill tank, and as you can see, this thing is also armed with 2 flick-fire missiles. After you use that, you just have to drill someone a new one. Here it is from the side, and you see a sticker over there, which is probably not necessary, but it's there just to add a little bit of detail. And there's one on the other side. Here's the back, and we have a little meter here and a flashlight. And we can stick Bane over here to drive this thing. And the main feature of this is that when you're riding along, it will help you spin the drill, which is really neat. And it works the same when you go backwards. And here's a quick look of the inside. There's the gear that operates everything. And it's hooked up to the center wheel over here. Really awesome. Finally, we have the Batcave, and as you can see, it looks pretty good for a playset. You'll also notice that there's a lot of stickers here, and I will admit that without them, this set looks really plain too. So I do recommend that if you decide to get this set, you should definitely put the stickers on here. This right here is the only printed piece. And I guess we'll start with over here. We have 2 flick-fire missiles, and we have the same setup right over there on top of the holding cell. This is to defend the Batcave in case stuff happens. And let's take a closer look on this side. This is where we see the supercomputer. And over here it says intruder alert, and we got a profile of yours truly. Over here we have a map, and there's a small blip over there. And over here is the system status of all your toys there. Here's the computer panel, and this chair is really neat. You only get 1 chair, so that means Robin is going to have to stand. And what I like about this chair is that you can put Batman there and not worry about the cape getting manipulated. See? Fits in just nicely. Down here we have 2 sliding doors which can open up, and you can slide your Batcycle through there, or if you want, if you have the Batmobile set, you can fit the Batmobile through there too, and it fits in just nicely, which is really cool. I'm glad they put that into consideration. Right in the middle here is the catwalk, and we got a bat just chilling over there. If you don't want him, you can just step on his feet and he'll get the message. Now what's really cool about this part is that you can kind of just position the Batcave any way you like. And you can even raise the elevation a little if you like. Looks really cool. And now onto this side. This right here is the elevator where Bruce Wayne can transform into Batman really fast, and I'll show you that later on. Up here we have the Batgear, which is just 2 batarangs, a pair of binoculars, and the handcuffs. And down here is the holding cell. You'll also notice that there are a lot of these light blue transparent pieces all around, which is a really nice detail to the Batcave. And up here we have the red phone, which is his direct line to Commissioner Gordon, I believe, back in the heydays. Here's the back side of the Batcave, and right behind the 2 doors we have 2 handles. This way to make it a little easier to open and close. And over here is the rod that you pull out just to operate the elevator. This way you can see them transform, and I'll show you that right now. Basically the way this elevator works is that you stick Bruce Wayne over here and attach him to those 2 studs over there. And on the back, here's that rod that I mentioned earlier. You just pull that out, and that'll drop Batman for you. Ta-da! It's a magic trick. Yeah, right. Although you could have some fun with that. I mean, you don't have to use it for just Batman. Let me just show you what I mean. I imagine it could be fun with other minifigures. Take Poison Ivy. Aha! Well, at least you guys know why I won't get involved with her romantically. Even Yoda finds this thing useful. And now we have Santa Yoda. For our next guest, we have Han Solo. And it looks like it didn't work out for him very well. Now granted, this is not a carbon freezing chamber, but for those of you who missed out on Cloud City, this is not a bad alternative. While we're here, I think it'd be a good time to show you guys how this elevator works by taking away some of the parts here, just so we can see how the inside works. And basically we have these 2 assemblies inside. The first one is where you put Bruce Wayne, and there's another assembly inside, and this is where you would put Batman. And basically that's how the elevator works. You have to put your minifigure in there before you use the elevator, which is a little lame, but that's just how it's going to have to work. Okay, so we'll just slide Batman in there, and there's Mr. Bruce Wayne. And once you pull the magic rod, ta-da, and now you got Batman. Of course, Bruce Wayne is now stuck in there until Batman comes back and changes back. Finally, we have the holding cell, and it's a pretty neat design. Here's the front of it, and we have a sticker up there, and another one over there. Here's the side, and we have another sticker that says scan. Ooh, what kind of scan? You know, if I get any dirty thoughts, can you blame me? They should have been more specific. I guess they're scanning for toxins. Yeah, toxins it is. Here's the back. We have another sticker, and we have a temperature of 9.37 degrees. I can see why they keep it that cold, because I know some things that get pretty pointy at that temperature. Here's the other side, and we have some flora. They might as well call this thing a greenhouse. Anyway, you can pry this thing open, and that's how you can put Poison Ivy inside there. Just like that. And we'll just lock her back up, and she's not going anywhere. And there we go. Pretty neat. And finally, this is attachable to this part of the Batcave right there. And it's also because of this part that you cannot attach the Batcave to like a base plate or some other studs, because once you attach this thing over here, it's actually off by half a stud. That's why it doesn't really attach to anything else. And plus of that piece too, you have to just take that off. But anyway, on to the recommendations. Overall, this is a pretty good set. Value-wise, we're at 10 cents a piece, which is really good considering that we get a lot of big parts, and big parts are always worth more than 10 cents a piece. We get an all-new Poison Ivy and Bane, and they're both exclusive to the set. So in a way, you can't go wrong when it comes to the value. Now, when it comes to playabilities, it is pretty good. And if you have the first Batcave, you still have a good reason to get this one too, because this can actually serve as like an add-on, because they're all connected by the same kind of catwalk. And even though some features are a little bit redundant, I think it still would look pretty good side by side, and you have a bigger Batcave too. Nothing wrong with that. So in the end, this thing is a lot of fun, and I think you'll like it. And that sums up my review. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.